My name is Kristen. I am 26 years old and work as a typical office lady. My appearance and abilities are average, and I don't have any particularly outstanding features, although I do have a somewhat strong personality. With this self-introduction, the mixer began. The event was organized by the women from the department next to mine and was a networking session with men from a slightly larger company than ours. It was originally planned to be a 4-on-4 event, but due to a lack of participants, I was asked to join at the last minute. I'm not particularly beautiful, but I'm not so ugly as to spoil the mood, and I'm sociable enough to fit right into a mixer. Currently, I don't have a boyfriend and I wasn't expecting to find a wonderful encounter at the mixer, so I focused on enjoying the meal. The venue was a casual Italian restaurant. Right from the start, the other 3 participating women set their sights on 2 men who were handsome, slim, and had the look of Korean pop stars. The remaining men were a man with plain looks wearing glasses and a well-built, large man. The large man sitting opposite me introduced himself as Ryan. His robust muscles, visible even through his shirt, along with his facial features and thick beard, were exactly my type. I've always preferred muscular, burly men over slim, pretty boys. To be specific, a rugby player would be ideal. He doesn't need to come riding on a white horse. In fact, a man who can carry a white horse would be my ideal. This is one reason why I'm often invited to mixers. My preferences hardly overlap with those of other women. You have amazing muscles. Do you play any sports? I asked him actively. I played rugby in college, and now I focus on weight training. That was a jackpot. I rejoiced inwardly. Ryan also participated, focusing on the meal and didn't actively talk to the women much, enjoying the delicious food that was served. His way of eating was impressive. Kristen, right? Do you exercise too? Ryan joined the conversation. Can you tell? Working out is also my hobby. Ah, I thought so. You seem to have a good physique. Though maybe that's not the best way to put it, Ryan said, smiling cheerfully. That smile, too, was completely my type. Afterward, we got along very well, talking about weight training, going to the gym, and muscles. We seemed a bit alienated from the other mixer participants, but I didn't mind. Ryan and I exchanged contact information and made plans to work out together in the future. At this meal intended for making acquaintances, it seems that Ryan and I were the only ones who formed a pair. Ryan is a year older than me, 27 years old. His height and weight are 6 and 198 pounds, respectively. I am 5'4" and 125 pounds. Usually, men with large builds prefer small and delicate women, but Ryan showed no such tendencies, and he seemed genuinely happy to enjoy bodybuilding, our common hobby. Thus we met, and not only did we go on training dates, but we also enjoyed typical dates like watching movies and dining out, and naturally conversations like, I want to have gym equipment in the living room when we get married and we'll need a big living room for that started happening. When I invited Ryan to my home to introduce him to my parents, they liked the considerate and cheerful him very much, making it feel like our marriage was imminent. Next week, I planned to visit Ryan's home. I heard that Ryan lost his mother in his childhood and was raised mostly by his sister, who is 7 years older than him. There might be the typical issues with a sister-in-law, but she might be easier to handle compared to a mother-in-law. I was nervous during my first visit, but Ryan's sister, Vanessa, who is stunningly beautiful, greeted us. She should be in her mid-30s, being 7 years older, and she is so beautiful that I couldn't help staring. She looked like a more refined version of Ryan, almost the same height as me, but slender and seemingly without much muscle, and her long black hair was striking. Ryan's father is well built with thick eyebrows, very much like Ryan. Vanessa entertained us with homemade seafood pasta, but a small problem occurred. I am allergic to shellfish. Vanessa, I'm sorry, I'm allergic to crab and shrimp. A small amount causes mild hives, but I had to avoid the plentiful shrimp and crab on the pasta. I I told you about the allergy, didn't I, Vanessa? Ryan was supposed to know I'm allergic to shellfish. We've dined together many times. No, I didn't hear about it. Sorry, Kristen. It's okay. Ryan, can you eat this crab and shrimp for me? With that, Ryan gladly said, of course, and took the crab and shrimp from my plate to his. I felt Vanessa's gaze become a bit stern, but I didn't particularly mind. I'll be more careful next time. But Kristen, if you get married, Ryan won't be able to eat crab or shrimp anymore. Vanessa said that, and I thought that I wouldn't use ingredients that could cause an allergic reaction when cooking myself. I felt a bit guilty, and Vanessa added more words. It's really a shame because he likes them so much. Huh? Is she blaming me? I was confused when Ryan said, don't worry, I can eat crab and shrimp outside, and I can always come here to eat them. During the time I was there, Vanessa repeatedly said, Ryan has always loved crab and shrimp since he was a child, and as long as I'm cooking, I'll make plenty for him. Her words made me feel unwelcome. Moreover, when Vanessa said, I'll see you out, and was sending Ryan off at the entrance, she said, even after you're married, you're always really welcome to visit here, as if I was taking Ryan away. Ryan, it seems your sister doesn't think very highly of me. I didn't know you liked crab and shrimp so much, I said, feeling down, and Ryan comforted me. Yeah, I like crab and shrimp, but don't worry too much about my sister. She's just a bit too caring about what I eat because it's very important to her. Vanessa might be a bit of a sister complex, especially since she took on the role of a mother after losing their mom. Her traits as a sister-in-law and mother-in-law are enhanced. Vanessa has an extremely handsome boyfriend. He is actually more handsome than a celebrity, and many women's eyes turn into hearts when they see him. Personally, I don't find him particularly attractive. Vanessa's boyfriend, Jeff, is 33 years old and owns a nightclub. When Vanessa used to work, she was taken to the club by a colleague, and Jeff was the top bartender at the time. His job involved charming women to earn money, but he ultimately fell for Vanessa and decided to become independent and a business owner. Jeff loves my sister deeply. Even my father, who was initially against the idea of him being a bartender, has come to accept him as a business owner. I even work out with him sometimes. He says he wants to put on a moderate amount of muscle, Ryan explained. Vanessa and Jeff, and Ryan and I sometimes dine together. Once, when I was about to add lemon and sauce to Ryan's shrimp fry, Vanessa suddenly raised her voice and said, "Wait a minute. Ryan likes to put ketchup on his fried foods." Ryan responded to this, "Don't worry." Kristen suggested I try the lemon and sauce, and it turned out to be really good. Of course, ketchup is good too, and tartar sauce works, but lately I've been particularly fond of lemon and sauce, but Vanessa's expression clearly clouded over. Such situations were not only observed during meals but also in other contexts. For instance, when Ryan began showing interest in foreign dramas influenced by me, or his style of dress started to change gradually, Vanessa always seemed displeased. There were also things that felt a bit odd. When we dined at Ryan's house, I often ended up with hives, a reaction to allergies. Although no crab or shrimp were directly served, it was possible that condiments containing extracts of these shellfish or finely mixed ingredients were used, which I would not recognize. Realizing this, I tried to get actively involved in cooking at Ryan's home, but Vanessa firmly refused. "If that's the case, why don't you help with the dishes instead?" she said. And I ended up washing the dishes without any opportunity to check what was really going on. One day, I started the conversation by saying, "I got hives again after we ate here last time," but she responded, "That's strange, we didn't use crab or shrimp." "Kristen, is it possible you have other allergies?" It was as if she was suggesting that I was the problem. She then added, "If you have allergies to so many things, it's going to be difficult for you to cook for Ryan. I'm worried about him clearly prioritizing Ryan without any real concern for me. For the record, I don't have any other allergies. I have had a thorough allergy test before." Even after telling her this, Vanessa was not convinced. I realized that it wasn't just a matter of her disliking me, but that she was reluctant to let Ryan move away from her. However, Vanessa is already 35 years old, and it's not feasible for her to remain overly attached to her brother. Since she is infatuated with her boyfriend, I'm considering if there is a way to resolve this with his help. Hey, aren't Vanessa and Jeff going to get married? I think they should move forward, I asked Ryan, and he replied, I've talked about it many times too. But she says she can't think about marriage until I'm settled and married. It seems that Vanessa herself might be delaying her own marriage. And then, an incident took place one day. When Vanessa and Jeff invited us for a meal, right after Ryan excused himself to the bathroom, Vanessa also stood up saying, I need to step out too. Shortly after, Ryan returned supporting Vanessa, who was covering her mouth with a handkerchief and appeared to be in pain. Jeff stood up and offered, Are you okay? I'll take you home, but Vanessa declined, saying, It's fine. We've already ordered the food, so enjoy yourselves. I'm going home with Ryan, and they went home together. Left behind, Jeff and I faced a slightly awkward atmosphere, but since it was a fancy French course, we made sure to enjoy it. Then Jeff looked at me and said, Kristin, you're quite unique. Very innovative and lovely, complimenting me. As expected of a former bartender, he's skilled at flattering women. But it didn't end there. Unbelievably, Jeff gently took my hand and whispered in my ear, Hey, how about we have fun together? No, I thought. What is he thinking? Right after his girlfriend, feeling unwell, just left. He's supposed to be crazy about Vanessa. Handsome as he may be, his behavior was questionable. This action triggered a flurry of questions in my mind. Please stop joking. Vanessa would be sad if she heard this, I lightly admonished him, but Jeff's response was unexpected. With a meaningful smile, he said, She won't be upset. Anyway, I'm not at all interested in handsome men, I stated clearly, showing my intention to decline. To that, Jeff just laughed and said, You're interesting, Kristin, without taking offense. Refusing his offer to drive me, I hurried to the station while contacting Ryan. I felt a strong need to see Ryan. Why did you call me to such a place? What happened? Ryan asked. In a hurry to find a private place, I summoned Ryan to a shop in front of the station. I'm sorry. By the way, how's your sister? I asked, though I wasn't really worried. Ryan said, When we got home, she was fine right away. She was really causing a fuss. It's a pity we couldn't enjoy the French meal. Then, I made a shocking confession. Afterward, Jeff made a pass at me, I told Ryan, and his usually calm demeanor turned serious. What? Why? He's supposed to be with my sister, he said, stunned and at a loss for words. Yes. That's why I told him Vanessa would be sad. But Jeff said she won't be upset. What does that mean? I asked. That's bad, Ryan murmured, deep in thought. The story Ryan shared afterward was somewhat surprising. Whenever he introduced the women he dated to his sister, they inevitably broke up soon after. The reasons for the breakups consistently involved the women saying they'd found someone else. Once I saw an ex-girlfriend getting friendly with a man who looked like Jeff. It was from a distance, and he was wearing sunglasses, so I thought I was mistaken, but Ryan said. Hearing that, I was astonished. It seemed that Vanessa might have orchestrated these scenarios with Jeff to ensure Ryan and his girlfriends broke up. This was too serious to be dismissed as a laughing matter. Normally, I avoided it, but I decided to share my suspicions with Ryan directly. I revealed how I often experienced hives after eating meals prepared by Vanessa and confirmed that I have no allergies other than to shellfish. I can understand that she wants to keep you close, but in this situation we can't be happy. And it's not good for her either, I said. Yeah, you're really right. Sorry, Kristin. I didn't expect it to come to this. I never thought my sister would go to such extremes. Ryan seemed clearly shaken, but this was a serious issue for me too. If you choose your sister, Ryan, then I can't continue this relationship. When I made my resolve clear, Ryan responded decisively. I choose you, Kristen. We'll tackle my sister's issues together. Once we leave the house, she won't be able to do anything." Then, with deep emotion, he added, "But I'm really glad you're not interested in handsome men." It wasn't all my fault that I got dumped. I couldn't help but sympathize and laugh a little. Thus, our bond strengthened even further, and we moved toward marriage. From that day on, I no longer went to Ryan's house. Keeping distance meant his sister could not interfere. The wedding preparations were going smoothly, but it wasn't without concerns. A little internet research reveals numerous horror stories about things that can go wrong at weddings and receptions. Unexpected things might happen, so it's best to be prepared. During a meeting about the ceremony, when I asked the planner how often wedding troubles occur, she sensed my anxiety and kindly asked, "Is there anything in particular you're worried about allowing me to open up and consult?" Hoping nothing would go wrong, I entered the dressing room on the wedding day, only to be met with a shocking sight. There was Vanessa, furiously tearing my wedding dress apart with a large cutter knife. Scattered around her feet were trampled accessories. I had expected some sabotage, but imagined something like water or coffee being spilled on the dress. However, I never thought she would cut the dress with a cutter. "It's all ruined now. What a shame," Vanessa said, a smile playing on her beautiful face. But I responded without flinching, "It's all rentals anyway." Naturally, most people don't order their wedding dresses as expensive haute couture. Her smile faltered a bit. "What? But you can't have a wedding without a dress." "Just in case, I have a spare dress prepared. It's a shame because I liked the ruined dress more. But I guess I'll have to go with the other one," I replied as calmly as possible. Just then, there was a knock on the door, and Ryan entered the dressing room. Seeing the situation, Ryan was at a loss for words. "Vanessa, why would you do something like this?" The planner with me then asked, "All these dresses and accessories belong to the venue. Should I report the damage to the police? We'll cover all the costs." "I don't want a criminal in the family on our wedding day," Ryan responded. When Ryan used the word criminal, his sister finally grasped the situation and started yelling, "Criminal? What are you talking about? I'm just against this marriage." "Too bad, but we're already legally married and we're officially a couple. Canceling today's ceremony won't mean anything," I told her. After a moment of shock, she collapsed to the floor, murmuring, "No, that can't be true. It's a lie." At that moment, Ryan continued, "Please stop, Vanessa. I don't want to hate you." At his words, she broke down crying like a child. Ryan. I asked Ryan to take her out of the dressing room, and I quickly fixed my makeup and changed into the spare dress. At that time, my family and Ryan's father had arrived at the venue, and by chance, Jeff also showed up. "I can't believe she actually went through with it," Jeff said, making me wish he had intervened earlier if he foresaw this, but he probably didn't want to stop her as he was an accomplice. No one could have stopped her. I left Vanessa in Jeff's care, unable to stop her tears, and Ryan and I explained everything to our parents. Although everyone was a bit panicked, our calmness shifted the atmosphere to, "Let's just get through the wedding and reception smoothly today." Throughout the wedding, Vanessa kept crying, and at the reception, she constantly covered her eyes with a handkerchief. People who didn't know the situation thought she was just sad about her brother leaving home and looked on sympathetically. After somehow getting through the wedding and reception, we spent a night in a downtown hotel and then flew to Italy for our honeymoon. A week-long culinary tour awaited us. Ryan's words, "I don't want to dislike you any more than I already do." Vanessa must have been the greatest punishment for her. 3 months later, Jeff visited our new home. True to his understanding of women, he brought a large bouquet of flowers as a gift. Since then, Ryan had not gone back to his parents' home, so he hadn't seen his sister. Occasionally she would contact him, but Ryan curtly refused her calls. However, it seemed he was still concerned about her, and when he asked Jeff about her recent condition, an unexpected reply came. "Actually, I've been thinking about breaking up." What Ryan exclaimed in surprise, as Jeff continued, After that incident, she lost her former self. "I used to love her for her efforts for your sake," he said vaguely. "However, I thought it's better for Jeff to stay by her side. Without him, who knows when she might cause trouble again. Maybe you should get married and have children? If she has a boy who looks like Ryan, she might regain her passion," I suggested. I admit, I have a calculating side. But I want to protect our current life at all costs. Especially now that I am pregnant and cannot shake the anxiety about what would happen if we had a boy who resembled Ryan. To my surprise, Jeff was excited by my innovative idea. "I see. I hadn't considered marriage before, but I'll think it over." "Thanks," he replied enthusiastically, and indeed, just a month later, they were registered as a married couple. The former bartender's quick response and decisiveness were astonishing. Our child, a boy who looks just like me, was born later. I felt relieved that Vanessa would not be interested in him, and although I wasn't very interested in children before, I now appreciate the special cuteness of my own child. I can now somewhat understand the attachment Ryan's sister showed towards him. When Ryan said, "Kristen, don't become like my sister," his expression was a bit sad and complicated. Jeff and his wife went on to have a child as planned. She smoothly got pregnant and gave birth to her baby. Contrary to our expectations of a boy resembling Ryan, they had a beautiful little girl, precious like a gem. Unexpectedly, it was not Vanessa but Jeff who became enchanted with their daughter. He would send us cute photos of her growing up, even though we never asked for them. Recently, she celebrated her first birthday, growing even more angelic in charm. Our 2-year-old little troublemaker is quite the monster, but that just adds to his cuteness. Jeff has boasted that he would use any means necessary to scare off any boyfriends his daughter might have. The couple seems to have similar personalities in that regard. There seem to be frequent disagreements between them regarding their daughter, but honestly, it's none of my concern. They always send only photos of their daughter, never of the whole family, which I find a bit curious, but it's not my issue. After all, I am due to give birth again in 2 months. And it's going to be twins. The little ones are as active as small monsters, requiring a lot of attention. I don't have the spare capacity to worry about another family's issues. The training machine set up in our large living room is used only by Ryan in the end. I had planned to use it for postpartum weight management, but before I knew it, it was being used to hang laundry. I realized the importance of maintaining the strength and stamina needed to chase after our children. If we have more kids, we really should move the machine and go to the gym. But even without the machine, we won't be short of weights, Ryan jokes as he does squats with our son on his back. Watching him, I reconfirmed how much I love that about him. So I believe I will not become like his sister. I hope that when our children grow up, they too will have the experience of a wonderful life with great partners, just as I am experiencing now.